Hi, so today I'm going to make keto-friendly low-carb cheesecake cupcakes, and it takes approximately about 15 minutes to cook and about 10 minutes prep time. So it's early in the morning, but I'm gonna make them now so that they'll have time to bake and then cool in the fridge and be ready by the time I get back from work. You want to make sure that you have all your ingredients before you get started. Almond flour or almond meal. You've got your 4 tablespoons of butter. So you want to make sure, before you go through the melting process, of course, you want to make sure that you're cutting 4 tablespoons, which equals out to be the 1/4 cup of butter, and then you're going to melt it in the microwave. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Want to make sure you cut. I usually do that, and then I open it up and I peel apart just so I don't get rid of the wrapping. And then I'm going to place the butter into my bowl here. I'm going to put it in the microwave and melt it down and mix it all together. So pretty much right now you're making the base of your cheesecake cupcake. So, there it is, ready to go. You're going to add your flour, and then you're going to add your melted butter. So as I'm looking, 30 seconds wasn't enough, so I'm going to pop it back in and put it in for a little bit more so it gets a little bit more melted. You don't want to make the blending of the almond flour and the butter difficult for you, so it's definitely melted butter. So the almond flour is waiting for the liquids of the butter. And you're going to take your spoon and blend this together, because this is going to form your crust, your thin bottom. And remember, while you're doing this, you want to make sure that your oven is on 350, warming up and getting ready to go. And when you blend this together, you just want to scoop it in a spoonful at a time. At the bottom of your cupcakes, foil to make that nice thin layer, and you want to press it down so it's nice and flat. So I've mixed it all together here, and I'm going to take another different spoon and I'm going to, spoon it in. So I've got my almond flour and my eggs here. So now the recipe calls for 3/4 cups of your sweetener, and what I like to do is take 1/4 of that cup and I like to put it into my base, to give it that nice little sweet taste in the base, and then I use the other half for the cheese, the cream cheese part of the recipe. So I'm going to take my 1/4 cup and I'm going to pour that in now, mix it together and form the base. So whatever sweetener you prefer to choose to use is fine. Got my 1/4 cup here. I'm going to mix some in, mix it together. Pour the rest in. So the mixture's here for the bottom. It's ready to go. So I know the recipe doesn't call for extra vanilla extract or anything, but in my crust, I actually like to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract, again, to give my crust a little bit difference of a flavoring. And that's what it is, right? You see a recipe online, you check it out, and you kind of make it your own by adding and putting a little twist to it. So I'm going to take a teaspoon of vanilla extract and I'm going to add it to this, mix it up, and put the crust in the bottom of my cupcakes foil. Flavor and taste is what I say. Flavor and taste. So, you know, when I do this, again, try to make it my own. I'm going to put this in, and I'm actually going to put this in the oven for about 5 minutes. So it says 15 to 17 minutes to cook everything. But I want my crust to get a nice little, before I put the rest of the wet ingredients, because a lot of the recipes that I saw online for cream cheese in general, the crust usually goes in and bakes for a little bit. So I want mine to have that same feel. So I'm going to do that now. I think 5 minutes is good on cupcakes. If you were doing a pie, or you know, baking it in a tin, the recommendation is a lot more on time of doing the base, about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm thinking about 4 minutes or so I'm going to put this in for. So there you have the base. It looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to put these in the oven for about 3 to 4 minutes, just so they can get a little thickness, forming their shape, before I add the rest of the ingredients. I love the crust, so I'm going to actually put them in for about 3 minutes in here, and then add the rest of the filling to it. So at this point, I put them in for 3 to 4 minutes. You see it's browned a little bit, and now I'm going to take care of the rest of the ingredients and add them, and then add them to the oven. So the recipe requires for you to have your 2 eggs. Also requires for you to have your cream cheese. So they said to leave your cream cheese out to get softened. So to me, to avoid all of that with the block, I love to get the cream cheese that's already whipped. That makes it a little bit more easier when I'm putting things together. But then you're going to blend it with a hand blender. Then you're going to just blend all your ingredients together. If you have an electric mixer, great. Or whatever mixer you have. If you have the fork, let's mix it all out. You want to blend it really good together to make it smooth. So another change that I did to the ingredients that's not there, for my filling, I want to have like a little lemon flavor to it. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon extract, or you can add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Just a different taste that I want to have in it, but the vanilla extract and everything else is the same. So what's already in the bowl is the eggs, the cream cheese, and what's in my hand is the vanilla extract. And that should be your ingredients, but again, I add 1 tablespoon of lemon. And as you're putting all your ingredients in, add the remaining sugar and blend all together. So of course I had to taste the filling, and the lemon makes it taste extra nice. So now I've got to take a nice big spoon and spoon feed them into my cupcake holders, and then put them into the oven. Recommended for 15 to 17 minutes, but if you know me, as I do my cooking and baking, I always shorten the time by a couple of minutes. But again, it depends on your oven, so you want to keep checking. The lower time on here is 15 minutes, so I'm going to set my timer for 12 minutes. Out of the bowl and into your cupcake holders, And you know, sometimes I feel sorry about my recipes sometimes. When you get to the last two of anything that has to get filled and you feel like, oh my gosh, I might not have enough. But I love this. All the ingredients evenly done for 12 delicious cheesecake cupcakes. So into the oven you go, and out comes some deliciousness. Now to check on them, you want to make sure that the cream cheese filling is set in the middle. You only want a slight jiggle. So I'm going to actually put them in for the remaining 3 more minutes. That was the second beep letting me know my cupcakes are ready to go. I actually did them about, instead of 3 minutes more, I did 4 minutes more, which totaled about 16 minutes. So 15 minutes would have been about right. And as you see, a little brown on one there. So it's definitely ready. So right now, you're going to leave it on the side to cool until it's room temperature and it's enough to handle. And then you want to place it in the refrigerator right in the same cupcake. So make sure you have space in your fridge. Place them in there for at least 8 hours and preferably overnight, and then serve the next day. So as yummy as these are, you're just going to have to wait. Cupcakes are done. They've been in the fridge for about 14 hours. So here's your keto-friendly, low-carb cheesecake cupcakes.